So I don't know about you guys, but it feels like every single morning that I wake up and take a look at my X feed, I see all these amazing projects that people are working on. For example, check out this Vibe Code app that essentially allows you to Vibe Code mobile apps and submit that to the App Store. It is absolutely amazing. And X is a great source to get inspired by projects just like these. And another good source to get inspiration for side projects is Hacker News. So we can go to like the show page here. And then this is where people every single day come to submit the projects that they're working on, that they want to get out and share with the world and get feedback on. And what's great is that there's usually discussion around the projects that people submit. So if we click into the comments, we can come in here and we can scan through the comments, and then we can sort of find out what people really like about this project, what they don't like, or find out the exact gaps that can be added in. Now, the idea is not to come here and steal people's projects or ideas, but use them as a source of inspiration. In my personal experience, when I see all the amazing projects that people are working on, I can't help but feel super motivated to start working on my own side projects. And every side project starts with an idea. And so if you don't have an idea, then there's no side project. And that is why X, Hacker News, and my personal favorite one, the subreddit side project, is super important. So I can come in here and I can just scroll through and get a quick glance of all the side projects that people posted. For example, check out this one. I can come here, I can click into this. I can see what people think about the app. And who knows, right? Just by looking at this side project or reading through the comments of what people are saying about this project, I might be able to start imagining a completely new idea that I can start working on. And what I usually do is once I find an idea that I want to work on, I would typically just track that in a Google spreadsheet. From here, I would just prioritize which idea I should start working on. But what I really want to share today is this pretty cool workflow that I've started to use to help me automate the way how I find these side project ideas across Hacker News and Reddit. And to do this, I'm just using Claude. So here I have the Claude desktop client installed. And if I bring this up, what I've done is I've went ahead and connected my Claude with a number of tools that I can show you here. I have a tool for fetching Reddit posts from the side project subreddit that I just shared. And I also have a tool for fetching posts from Hacker News. And then I have lastly here a tool that I can use to save ideas to this Google spreadsheet that I just shared as well. Now I'm really into vibe coding, to vibe coding the front end, vibe coding mobile apps, and vibe coding the back end. And because of that, all of these tools that you see here, I built without writing a single line of code, and that's thanks to Buildship. Buildship is a low-code visual backend builder. It's basically my backend tool of choice that I use when I need to create APIs, schedule automations, integrate with AI models, and so much more. But I've created 3 tools here. First, a tool for retrieving posts from a subreddit, a tool for retrieving posts from Hacker News, and a tool that I can use to keep track of these ideas in a Google Sheet. We'll take some time to go over these tools, how I built them, and how I connected them to my Claude desktop client. But for now, let's see what this looks like in action. So here is my Claude desktop. And what I'm going to do is paste in a prompt that I've been reusing. To start, what I want to do is scour Hacker News, grab the 5 latest posts, and for each post, I want to grab the first 5 top level comments. And then here I'm telling Claude that I wanted to basically just summarize each post briefly, as well as analyze the comments of those posts. And the key point here is that why I'm doing this is because I want to know what people like or find useful about the project, any common questions or pain points that people might have, or any suggestions or feedback that people are providing. And then after that, what I want to do is have Claude, based on the analysis, generate 3 side project ideas for me. We're not stealing these ideas. What we want to do is use those ideas as inspiration for our own side projects. And so here I'm telling Claude that the ideas that it suggests should be inspired by the recurring needs or interest patterns that we find in the comments, any gaps or improvements. And that ultimately the goal is to come up with project ideas that are practical, useful, and likely to resonate with the Hacker News community. So I'm going to submit this message, and now Claude should start using my Fetch Hacker News post tool. So now it's going to analyze the results that it got back. Before we go through the response that we get back here from Claude, let's take a look at the tool request that we make. So you can see that this request includes a number of inputs, so the sort, the page number, etc. But if we scroll down, we'll be able to see the response that we got back from our BillShip tool. And this comes back in JSON format. It's kind of hard for us to read, but Claude does a great job of analyzing this data in the structured format. If I go back to my BillShip tool and I go to the Hacker News tool, I can expand the logs here, and you'll see that this workflow was called, and the final output that we get here is just our JSON result, which contains the Hacker News that we fetch. So the exact same results that you see here. And now if we continue on, then Claude will give us a summary of all the project that it was able to retrieve from Hacker News. There's a bunch of pretty cool ideas. And then if we scroll to the bottom, we'll get the suggestions. So these are the side project IDs based on the analysis. And here it's telling us that we could build a visual flow compiler for multiple languages. And then it's telling us why this would resonate with the Hacker News community, some key features. Here's another side project that we may want to consider working on, Universal Dependency Version tool. This is pretty good. Of course, if we wanted to return more posts and probably get some ideas that are a bit more interesting than these, then we can just prompt the client when it uses the tool to, for example, instead of returning just 5, return 10 or 20, and also return more comments. Next, what I want to do is have our Claude agent go through the side project subreddit. So I'm just going to grab a prompt and I'm going to paste it here. This is similar to the Hacker News one. We're telling the agent this time to go through the top Reddit post from the week using hot or best filter, and that we wanted to collect 10 posts. And then for each post, we want to grab 10 top level comments, do some analyzing there, and then suggest 3 side project ideas for us. So this time I'm going to submit this message. And then this time, Claude is smart enough to know that we want to use the Reddit tool that we have. And the Reddit tool has a different set of inputs that we can pass: max post, comments per post, sorting, as well as a time frame. And you can see that it did get the sorting correct, as well as the time frame. And if we scroll down here, we get back a response. Again, this is coming back in JSON format. We don't understand this because it's pretty ugly to look at, but that's no issue at all for Claude. And now if we scroll down below, we're going to get our summary for each side project. There's this work poop tracker app. So this tracks how much money you earn while pooping at work. Okay. That's definitely unique. I don't think I've ever heard about an app that does something like that. There's a bunch more, but what we want to go to now is scroll all the way at the bottom, and then we want to see the suggestions that it gives us based on all of this information. So here we have the project ideas that are being suggested. Browser lens. So this would be a visual website change tracker. Okay, let's see what else do we get. There's a meeting meter, a meeting cost calculator. It is a simple app or browser extension that calculates the real cost of meetings based on the attendees' salaries, showing to companies how much money is being spent during Unproductive meetings. Okay, this one sounds pretty interesting. So once I find an idea that I really like, what I want to do is have that idea tracked in my spreadsheet over here. So what I can do is just tell Claude to do that for me. So I'm going to copy this one. I'm going to say, hey, I liked this one. Let's save it. Okay, so this time you can see here that it's using a different tool, and this is the Save Ideas to Google Spreadsheet tool. And we can take a look at this request. So it takes the idea, the platform, the description, and then we get back a JSON result. And here it's telling us that the meeting meter idea has been saved to my spreadsheet. And sure enough, if I come here to my spreadsheet, I have the meeting meter app saved. We get the idea name, a description, the target platform, and then the stage, which for every new thing here will just be an idea. And that's basically how I am enhancing my side project ideas discovery workflow by pretty much automating the entire process of me having to scan through Hacker News or Reddit, the comments, and just have the Claude agent do that for me. And all of this is also made possible thanks to BillShip tools. If you don't know, you can go to BillShip tools. This is a conversational AI agent builder for backend workflows and tools. There's so much interesting things that you can do here. You can start by just entering a prompt, or you can select from a list of community templates. What I did was when I created these 3 tools that I have, let's talk about the Reddit one first. All I'm doing here is using the tool trigger. When you use the tool trigger and when you ship this, you can connect this to your MCP clients. If you click into the tool trigger here, you give your tool a name, you can autofill the tool description. There's an API key provided if you want to export this tool as a function and host it on your own infrastructure, but keeping a level of security. Anyways, what I did here was I just selected my agent builder and I just selected the Claude MCP server. And the instructions here are super simple. The first thing here is if you want to use the hosted version on BillShip, you just copy this command, run it in your terminal, and by just doing that, it should refresh the Claude desktop app. And then when you go to the tools here, you should see your tool available. It's the same approach for the Hacker News tool that I have. And then for the app ideas to Google Spreadsheet flow, this one is pretty interesting because what I did here was I didn't build this flow manually. What I did was I took advantage of BillShip's conversational AI agent to help me build this flow. So in the same way how we can vibe code the front end using AI builders like Bolt, Lovable, Tempo Labs, BillShip allows you to do this, but for the backend. So here we have this build with AI conversational agent, and you can really just in plain text describe the flow that you want to build. So here you can see I said, given an array of ideas, I want you to add this into an existing Google spreadsheet. And then here, what's pretty cool is that instead of generating the node logic immediately, what you get is a plan in plain English language for the workflow that will be generated. And then once you just go through the plan and you are comfortable with the logic, you can just click start building, and then you can just sit back, grab a coffee, and watch the magic take place. Like, it's super, super convenient. And that's pretty much it for my workflow that automates the discovery of side project ideas from Hacker News and Reddit. Again, all of this is made possible thanks to Claude and the MCP protocol and the ability for us to now easily create tools in a visual way or even in a vibe coded manner, and then just easily connect that with your agent builder of choice. Thanks for watching.